Hmm. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Just doing a bit of light reading. You know me. I'm Chris. I'm chilling in the back somewhere, I guess. Hi, Chris. Okay. So this is my first, middle, last episode of the first, second, middle, and last season of Crash Course. My Crash Course. And today we're going to be discussing 1984. So let's get started. Just cue the intro. Yeah. So before we talk about the main story, we're going to have to get into the backstory so you can have a better understanding of what inspired the book, where it comes from, and the man who wrote it himself, George Orwell. So I'm going to level with you really quick. It's a lot of information. I wrote it down on note cards, but that's only because I can't remember it all. But it'll be fine because I'll still be looking at the camera, just not all the time. Good? Whatever. Okay, so now we're going to talk about George Orwell. Pretty cool guy. Not that cool. Yeah. His name isn't even George Orwell. It's Eric Arthur Blair. He was born in 1903 in Bengal. His dad worked with like opium quality control, which was kind of like legal cartel back in the day. It's pretty interesting. He moved when he was like, he got a little bit older. They didn't really specify, like I looked around, you can't really specify when. He moved to London where he went to a private school called Eden. And then after that, when he got a little bit older, he joined the Imperial Police in, can't remember where he, quote unquote, I guess you could say got woke, but he said that he learned a lot about how military forces run by governments like that work and stuff. Yeah. And then when he published his first book, which was called Doing Out in Paris and London, he changed his name to George Orwell, which was in 1983. By that time, he still had no political stance. He was for sure, though, he talked about how he was against totalitarianism, as you know, from 1984. And he was for democratic socialism. And he also had a strong opposition for communism, which was a big thing at the time. He talks a little bit more about why in his book Homage to Catalonia. Yeah. So now that we kind of got that out of the way, let's talk about the book. Okay, so the plot of 1984 goes a little something like this.
Winston, please, I love you.
No, we can never be together. You don't understand. It's Big Brother.
But please, we both love each other.
That's right.
Big Brother! Big Brother! Okay, so basically we played it up just a little bit. So here's the real plot this time.
The year 1984. Place? Oceania, or Airstrip 1, formerly Great Britain. A province of the superstate Oceania, whose residents are victims of perpetual war, omnipresent government surveillance, and public manipulation. Oceania's political ideology, euphemistically named English Socialism, shortened to INGSOC in Newspeak. The government's invented language that will replace English, or Old Speak, is enforced by the privileged elite inner party via the thought police. The inner party persecutes individualism and independent thinking, which are regarded as thought crimes. The tyranny is overseen by a mysterious leader known as Big Brother, who enjoys an intense cult of personality. The party seeks power entirely for its own sake. It is not interested in the good of others, it is interested solely in power. Our hero is Winston Smith, a member of the Outer Party who works for the Ministry of Truth, or Mini-True in Newspeak. Mini-True is responsible for propaganda and historical revisionism, which basically means that they rewrite the past. Smith's job is to rewrite newspaper articles so that the historical record always supports the party's agenda. The workers are told they are correcting misquotations when they are actually writing false information in the place of fact. Mini-True also destroys all previous editions of revised work. This method ensures that there is no proof of the government interference. Smith is a diligent and skillful worker, but he secretly hates the party and dreams of rebellion against Big Brother. Smith begins his acts of rebellion by starting a sexual relationship with Julia, an employee from the fiction department at Minitrue. He received a book from O'Brien, a member of the inner party and fellow rebel, that details the truth behind the party's actions. Smith's attempts at self-education and rebellion are ultimately quashed when he is arrested by O'Brien himself. Smith discovers that O'Brien was truly working for the Ministry of Love, or Mini-Love in Newspeak, the ministry in charge of torturing dissidents. Smith is subjected to many forms of torture and is forced to the horror chamber known only as Room 101, where he is tortured by his worst fear, rats, and is forced to betray Julia. He is released from Mini-Love, and Orwell describes his life after his release for the rest of the book. Smith ends the story observing a military update on the telescreen and feeling an intense love for Big Brother.
Okay, so I'm also gonna match this together with the cultural impact and stuff, and then I'm gonna wrap it up best I can. Okay, so the themes of the book kind of bring up stuff like totalitarian dangers and what it's like to be in a society that's too controlled, and it also brings up things with psychomanipulation, like with the torture rooms, like Room 101 and the whole thing going on there, as well as technological abuse, like having cameras everywhere and propaganda just being so prevalent. And then like how language equals mind control with newspeak, and how they try to take away thought from speaking as much as possible so you don't think when you talk. And urban decay with the rundown slums that Winston visits, where he goes to the little secondhand shop and stuff like that, even just where he lives, that's not that good. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the influences. Things like the phrases like there's newspeak and doublethink and stuff like that have all become common things that are said when referring to that kind of government now. Like, it's just like a regular thing that's said whenever talking about a totalitarian government and stuff. Also, there are a lot of musicians made songs based off of it, like the band Muse and David Bowie even. He also tried to write a musical for it, but what's his name? Orwell's widow didn't let him have the rights to it, so he couldn't write that. And in 1984, Apple made a commercial to advertise their new computer, which heavily featured images straight up from what the book talks about and stuff. And then there was a spike in 2013 after a bunch of stuff got leaked about how our information is being stolen. And there was a spike in 2016 and 17 when a certain boy became our president. Okay. So that's pretty much it. That is as much as I can sum up. I hope you liked this video. And yeah, that's it. I'm Chris, and just remember, Big Brother is watching you.